Hello and welcome to This is Glendale. I'm Bet Chorus, and as you can see, Joe Dubinsky isn't with me. He had the good fortune of being able to get into Canada for his summer vacation. This month's show features the Glendale mural. I'm going to be interviewing the artist, Mark Barnett, and a Glendale Heritage Preservation historian, Martin Sinnott. That should be very interesting. Also, I'm going to interview a gentleman in the village who's going to be 100 years old, September 30th. Howard Constable. I can't wait to show you that interview. And finally, we're going to connect with Jenny Dennis. She's going to bring us up to date on the annual street fair here in Glendale. Hope you like the show. Hello and welcome to this segment of This is Glendale. I'm Bet Chorus, and with me today is Mark Barnett, Martin Sinnott. Today we're featuring the new mural that's in progress, and we have two of the best people to tell us about it, the artist and the historian that was involved with the original one. Well, you want to talk about the original one and how that came about? Were you working together with that at that point?
No, actually 15 years ago, Dr. Todd was the mayor at the time, and I proposed to put a mural on the wall. I used to drive by here all the time. I grew up in Glendale, and I just noticed that a blank canvas, and I was in art school at the time, trying to build a resume.
Terrific.
Of work, of fine art. And so I proposed it to the village council, and they gave me the green light. And so I painted it first with house paint, and it survived about 15 years till it started to peel and fade. And this time around, I'm going to use an enamel type of paint and see if I can get maybe 20 years out of it this time.
That's great.
Yeah, the process consists of tracing it. At night, I use a projector and use the original image. And then I can play with the size of it and where exactly I want it located on the wall with a projector. And once I'm happy with it, I set it up, and then I trace it with Sharpie markers. And then just start filling it in like a giant coloring book, essentially, with just the different shades of a dark color. So I'm using it's called ink. So I can lighten that up to get the mid-tones and the light tones. And then it should be good to go. It's an enamel paint, so it should have a good long life.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
And Martin, what was your involvement with the mural?
My involvement was when I saw the original mural whitewashed over, I became concerned that we were losing a rather significant piece of Glendale's heritage.
As everyone in the village did,
Yeah.
who didn't know.
So that was the time I started to get involved with suggesting that we refinance a mural on that wall. And I started to do a little research into what could go on that wall. And eventually we ended up with what you see there.
Which is basically, you were telling me, the original mural with some modifications. Do you want to tell me what maybe the major...
Mainly I lowered it a little bit. So when I did it originally, it was a little too high. And so this time around, I got to kind of do a better placement, put it inside that power line that's there. And instead of doing it in a sepia tone, which was kind of a brown old photo type, which wasn't how the original photo was done, I'm going to try to have it resemble the original photograph more closely. So
right.
it's true to the original photograph. That
right.
I can't remember the gentleman's name that took the photo, but try to represent his photo as best I can.
That's where Martin comes in.
Yeah, his name was F. Glesner, and we don't know what the F stood for, but he came through Glendale at the end of the Civil War and took photographs of several of the buildings, including the depot. And we still have the original glass negatives in the collection of Glendale Heritage Preservation.
That's terrific. There is also something, though, that this one, I've noticed that the rails are more pronounced and more extended, and I think you are to thank for that, perhaps. Martin?
Yes, I'm also the editor of the Glendale Heritage Preservation newsletter. And I decided to do an article on this particular photograph. And at the encouragement of a train enthusiast. And he pointed out to me that there were parallel rails. They're known as straddle rails because the Cincinnati, Hamilton and Dayton Railroad used a narrower gauge than the Atlantic and Great Western Railroad, who both came through here. So they had to have different gauge rails in order to provide rails for their different stock.
And are they still in existence, the
No.
rails? No, I would have, yeah, because when I walked, after you mentioned that to me, I thought, I'm not seeing them. So I thought maybe there was a section where they were held.
No, in 1877, everyone standardized
Oh, okay.
to one gauge, which is what we use today.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else you would like to comment or talk about with respect to the mural? Or
I was just happy to hear that everybody was eager to have it repainted and put up there again. So I'm happy to do it.
yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
We're very grateful. We loved the first one. We know we're going to love this one
Great.
just as well.
Thank you.
The depot that's pictured in this mural is the old depot, which was built in 1883. And it burnt down 20 years later when a spark from a locomotive landed on its roof.
Oh, my.
And it was rebuilt 3 years after that in 1877. And that's the depot that we see in the square today.
And when was the most recent renovation or repair work done in the museum? I know
Now,
it was a
the-
constant battle with old buildings.
Now, the village bought the depot off CSX in 1995,
Okay.
and they rented it out to Glendale Heritage Preservation, who set about renovating it into their current museum, office, and archives.
Great. And are they still the owner, or does the village own it at this point?
The village is the owner.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you both very much. This has been a delightful educational opportunity for me, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well. This is Bet Corris, thanking you for watching. This is Glendale. Hello, and welcome to this segment of This is Glendale. I am lucky enough to be in the home of Howard Constable, local resident who's going to reach his 100th birthday, September 30th. We're very excited that Howard has agreed to speak with us. Howard, thank you again for letting me come to your house and ask you some questions about this long life of yours.
Thank you.
What is your fondest memory as a child that you can think of? Did you live in downtown Cincinnati? Were you rural?
Lived in downtown Cincinnati.
Did you play a sport in school?
No, I only played volleyball is all I played.
Oh,
No other sports.
no other sports, yes. When you were old enough to go to the war, had you already been to college, or did you get an engineering degree? What was the progress of your education?
Well, after I was in the war, I joined when I was 21 years old.
When you came back from the war, did you work right away with General Electric,
No.
with GE?
No, I went to college.
Oh, okay.
I took the GI Bill and got my degree from Miami University.
That's great. And then, did you work somewhere else before?
No, I went from there to GE.
Okay, now what kinds of jobs did you have over the years at GE that you can remember?
Oh, I was a production control manager and spent most of my time as a manager of production control.
That's a very detail-oriented job, I would guess.
Yeah.
Right. I did want to ask you again about your youth. What is your oldest memory? What's the best thing you can remember about being a child? Nothing?
Living in downtown Cincinnati.
Right, yeah, that was good. I'm sure it was very different back then relative to now. Okay, back to when did you retire? How many years did you work there? About, ballpark.
Oh, at GE, I worked there 48 years.
My goodness, that's a long time. I heard that at one point in your long career of doing a lot of things, that you actually were building houses.
Yes.
Yeah, in Wyoming is.
I built, let's see. Yeah, I built a house in Wyoming. I built 2 houses in Wyoming.
Okay. Howard, you
Yes.
have lived through lots of changes in both industry and culture, and
Yeah.
before you got to be almost 100 and you had retired, how did you keep yourself busy? I saw you walking a lot, but did you work
Yeah.
on projects or
Yeah,
anything?
I do a lot of walking, and I enjoy meeting people
Where do you walk?
outside on the sidewalk, the telephone building. I walk up to the telephone building, take a rest, and come back.
That's a pretty good hike.
Yeah.
Good for you. I used to love to run into you at Costco.
Yeah.
I think that we at least a couple of times a month would share the same shopping time. It was always a delight to see you.
I like Costco.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time.
It's a good place to hang out.
Yeah.
Well, Howard, this has been delightful, and I don't know how. Do you know how they're going to celebrate your party, your 100th?
I don't. My daughter Beth will probably just have an open house
Okay.
where people can just come visit and say hi.
Well, that will be great.
Yeah.
Right. Again, thank you so much for spending time with us and letting us share this wonderful upcoming event. Is there anything you want to talk about? Are you done?
Oh, I'm okay.
All right.
I can still. I'm 99, but I can still get up and touch my toes.
That's wonderful. You're going to demonstrate?
What?
You're not going to demonstrate, are you?
Yeah. Stay in front of me in case I fall
I will.
that way.
My goodness, he does it.
Ah.
I am impressed.
Well, give me a hug then.
You know it, Howard. Thank you for watching. This is Glendale. I'm Bet Chorus, and this is, what's your name?
Howard Constable.
There we go. Thank you. Hello and welcome to this segment of This is Glendale. As you can see, I'm in front of the Bluebird Bakery with Jenny Davis. And Jenny, you brought some other people to help celebrate what we're going to announce today.
I did. I have my grandsons here today. I have Jack and Paxton.
And we're here today to talk about the Glendale Street Fair. We're going to have one.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce is welcoming back the annual street fair. It's going to be September 25th from 3 to 9 p.m. We're doing a one-day only this year. We're doing a little smaller version than in years past, more community-oriented. We're going to have a band. We're going to have Tracy Walker play.
Great.
We're going to have beer, and we're going to have our vendors set up around the fountain out here. And
Do you need any volunteers, or are you trying to get some information out in that respect?
of course we do. We always need volunteers. The more the merrier. We have a sign-up genius, and there'll be a link to that on the village email blast. So that should be coming out soon, and you can click on there and plug in and help come and have fun with us.
That sounds great. It's just so exciting to have something,
Right.
even if it is a little
Right.
abbreviated,
Right.
Since there was not one last year.
We want to keep the tradition going.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, be sure to mark your calendar, September the 25th, and come on out to the street fair. Thanks, Jenny. And thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That about wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the interviews, and we look forward to giving you some more interesting Glendale information next time. Thanks for watching, and this is Glendale.